Are you ready to use Instagram for your business, but you're not sure where to begin? Well, lucky for us, I have the CEO of Berman Media PD and creator of Instagram Power Method, Michelle Berman-Mikel. Hey, Michelle.
Hi, I'm so excited to be here. Thanks for having me.
I'm glad you can be on because, obviously we met on Instagram and the thing that I like about your content and your power method is that the algorithms are always changing, but you've created a process that doesn't matter if the algorithm changes. You can still, as a real estate agent, we can still get clients from Instagram by using your method. So can you share with us maybe about three of your top tips for getting clients on Instagram?
Yeah, absolutely. I'd love to. And I love that you feel that, because I think that the biggest misconception is when it comes to Instagram is that it's the focus needs to be on trends, right?
Right.
Oh, I need to make this video because it's going to go viral, or I need to make more reels because everyone is telling me to make more reels and that's what Instagram wants me to do. And all of that in theory sounds wonderful, right? But
It's
the reality
exhausting.
is that the platform constantly changes, and people being so worried about virality, or my post didn't get as many likes, or my post didn't get any comments. Why? People call me with very surface level questions. And the reality is that truly none of that matters. But what does matter is, how do we create a platform that can transcend anything going on in the economy, in the society in general, in the technology field, right? Of social media as a whole. And so the methodology that I will kind of give you guys the sneak peek into is rooted in 3 steps, which ties beautifully into 3 things that I can give you. But it's rooted in what I call the 3 C's, which is, can we create connection that creates the opportunity for more conversation? And out of the conversations, can we create more conversion, right? So
Yes.
3 C's: connection, conversation, conversion. And then the tips, I will say, fall in line with each of the 3 C's, just to make it simple.
Well, and I
So
think
if you're
there, like,
focused on,
just that,
yeah,
that's lead generation, period. No matter what
yeah.
platform that you use, if that is your underlying thing, and that makes it much more simpler, right? It's like, okay, now I don't have to worry about being like the most famous person on Instagram, because it doesn't matter. Like, if I'm an agent, most agents are looking to do 24 to 36 deals a year. Those are my people. That's it. Like, I don't need a million followers.
Mm-mm. No, not at all. And I've had our success stories, range from people who have literally 0 following when they start with us. Like, I'm telling you, don't even have an Instagram account, to people who have already built an established presence and just want to clean it up, and then also actually see conversion. Because I have met, and still to this day talk to people every day, who have these bigger presences or have spent money on growing their following, if you will.
Yeah.
And they'll call me and say the exact same thing: Michelle, it's not converting. It looks pretty, but it's not converting.
Right.
And I can take 5 seconds and look through what's happening and realize why. Um, and so to answer your 3 tips question, again, is tied into the 3 C's. So we'll break each one of them down just like very quickly. But connection is first. And one of the biggest things that I can tell any single one of you is, if there is something about you that is cool, right? Even if you don't think anybody else is cool, or anybody else would think it's cool, you need to share it, right? And I just got off a call who said, with a gentleman who said, Michelle, when I see you on video, I can see that you have muscle. So obviously I know you work out. So I'm going to be more likely to talk to you about working out than I would somebody else.
Right.
And I'm like, even that simple thing just created connection, right? So for me, to post about working out, to post about the fact that I go to the CrossFit gym, to post about my postpartum fitness kind of journey, right? To post about the fact that I'm going and training for a 10K, which I hate running, but I've learned to love it. Posting about that stuff creates a lot of connection between me and somebody else on the other side of my account. Yeah. And so I think what people are really afraid of is, well, nobody's going to care, or nobody is going to care that I love to cook, or that I, make pumpkin pies from scratch for my clients instead of buying them. Like, I had a lady tell me that. She's like, I make every single one of them from scratch. Wow. And I was like, girl, you need to share that.
You definitely
because that makes you incredibly unique and incredibly special. And just posting about your cooking process, or you going and picking up the pumpkin that you have to go buy to make all your pumpkin pies, is a lot cooler than somebody that goes to Costco and buys 100 of them and puts their sticker on it and sends it out. right?
Or even
So
like
we
how to
have to be,
find like the perfect pumpkin, like this one's terrible, or you know what I mean? Like you can create like a lot of
yeah.
funny content about that
Oh my gosh, 100%. I would watch that all day over the
all
alternative.
day, especially if she was
And
dressed
I
like a
think,
pumpkin.
oh my God, dead. That'd be hilarious. But I think that the thing about connection that people really miss, and the biggest tip that I can give you specifically on the connection piece, is vulnerability is really attractive and it creates authenticity, right? And especially in a world of social media where things are very saturated and you
Right.
have a lot of people who are paying for people to produce content for them, it can come across very inauthentic and lacking the organic nature of what it should be.
Right.
So billboard, I always use the word billboard when I give this tip to people, because if I look at your account and it is nothing but a bunch of really pretty photos of you from a branding photo shoot,
Right.
I am not going to hire you. I'm so sorry to say
Yeah.
that, right?
Right.
The reality is that I don't know who you are in that.
Yeah.
So yes, good job that you went and got really nice photos taken. And there is definitely a time and a place to use those, no doubt. And my team, we do them every quarter. So I certainly support it, but that is not the root of my content. That is not the one of the foundation pieces of it, because I want people to see that I wear blue light glasses or that my hair's not done today, or whatever, right? I want people to feel very connected to me as a human.
Yeah.
And so that's the biggest thing I will say about connection. Stop using stock photos or stock branded photos as your core piece of content and use camera roll photos. What do
Well,
you
and the
have in
thing
your phone that
too
you can share?
that I'm getting from what you're saying is like, whatever, if you are a person that already posts, like you're not starting from scratch, there's actually a theme in there, even if you don't know that there is. Like
Yeah.
people are noticing something, like you said, they're noticing your muscles. I mean, obviously you do have content about working out and stuff like that, but if you didn't, they would still notice that. You want to do more deals, but your current sphere is not big enough. What are you going to do? Well, you need to make new friends. So the best way to do that is through cold calling. I use REDX to call expireds, for sale by owners, for rent by owners, circle prospect, and you can too. Go to theredx.com/fight club and get your setup fee waived.
Yeah. And the reality is that that leads into C number 2, which is conversation. It opens the door for conversation. So if you post nothing, but, and this is the best example because it makes my blood boil. But I had a lady who posted a picture of a plain white hallway in a brand new build. It was literally a picture of the hallway, like a professional photo of this beautiful hallway, but it was all completely plain white. And her caption said, I have this big news that I'm going to be sharing in a couple of days. So how, looking at that photo with that caption, am I going to create this like excitement around what you're about to share? It's not, right?
No.
So I said to her, I said, stop using stock photos. And she goes, oh, it's actually not a stock photo. It's from a client of mine. It's from one of their listings. And I was like, you're still missing the point, clearly. Right. Because that is not content. That is not authentic content that's going to make me start C number 2, which is conversation. It's not creating the opportunity for it.
Right.
So to keep us moving on that, C number 2 is conversation, right? So are we having conversations? And this is one of the things that if I can get to one of you guys listening to this and move a heartstring from just one of you, I'm going to be proud of it. But you have to look at Instagram conversations and spending time on Instagram, having conversations authentically in your DMs as prospecting. Right. It is relationship building at scale. And I use the example of, and Jen, you would probably have the same exact example, right? But if you made a list of your top 100 most important people in your career that you wanted to go see on a daily basis, right? Let's pretend I have my 100 names. I'm going to go see all 100 of them. And if I see one of them per week, how many weeks is that going to take me? 100, which is damn near 2 years. That's a long time to go from seeing one person to the 100th person before I then get to go back to number 1. Right. So I'm now not talking to somebody for 2 years in between. That's wild, right? So what Instagram gives you the opportunity to do is stay connected to all of those people who are influential in your career. And in this case, past people who have used you as their agent. So with that, you have to be willing to have conversations. And I think that this is a huge problem.
But how much
Hiring a
time
VA
are
to do your
you like,
engagement.
what is
is
your
not worth it.
recommendation for the time that you're spending in Instagram working to create these conversations?
It is so much bigger than what we have time for. But what I can tell people is you have to have a designated plan, right? So if you have a tracker built out, which is what we do, we actually help people build that. But if you have 5 days on a calendar, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and you say, my ideal client is X, where does X client hang out? Right. I'm a military wife. I live on a military base. So if I were a real estate agent trying to actually go, find new clients, which I do have my license, but I don't sell real estate, right? But let's pretend I did, and I'm trying to go find clients. My ideal client would probably be a military wife in this particular town, right? So where are the military wives hanging out on Instagram? And that's where I have to go live. That's where I have to go out and actually start conversations. I can't just spend all day scrolling my existing feed and talking to people who I've already talked to every single day. I have to actively go out and find new relationships. And I have to do it very genuinely. And there is certainly a strategy to that. But that's the thing is you can't, when you're prospecting on Instagram, don't think of it as I'm aimlessly just sitting here scrolling, because what will happen is you'll fall victim to, I just sat on Instagram for an hour and I don't even know what I just did.
Right. Nothing happened.
Exactly. Or all I do is respond to people who I talk to all the time. Well, yeah, because you're not doing it right. So it's that simple, you know? And there is a lot to it, but the truth of the matter is you have to actively go out and seek those relationships.
Right.
And you have to do it in a structured way that will help you find people in a very hyper local way, right? Which is
but I mean,
most real estate agents are after.
Yeah, and that means you have to know who you're looking for first, right? And so that's like the business planning piece. But this, like you said, you have to have a plan, and part of it is knowing the big plan, and then this is just a strategy. Okay, so what's your third tip?
Yeah. So the third part is when it comes to conversion. So this is the biggest thing I can tell when it comes to the actual conversion piece, is you have to, and I can't say it strongly enough, you have to be willing to move the meeting, right? And you have to be willing to do it in a way that is not salesy. I don't know how many, I would imagine everyone listening to this has probably gotten a weird DM on Instagram saying, here, go buy this. And you don't know me. And it feels very weird to receive, let alone be the one sending it. Right. So when it comes to moving the meeting, what I tell people is you have to be intuitive, right? So if you're having a conversation with someone in your DMs and it feels very genuine, you have to just reach out and say, hey, I know, Jen, I know you and I've been chatting a bunch, but my favorite coffee shop is XYZ in XYZ city. Are you available next Wednesday? Right. So it comes down to, can you look at a message or look at a conversation and intuitively say, now is time, or now is the time? And then ask properly, right? This is sales 101, but it's also psychology 101, because you have to understand the conversation. And then if you can be intuitive in the conversation, you can then go to sales 101 and know how to position a meeting where that person is not going to say no. All they're going to probably do is offer a different time.
Yeah. And if you're not in the same city, that can be done on Zoom too, or virtually,
100%.
Whatever. Yeah. Cause I do happy hours and coffees and things with people virtually all the time, you know, and luckily for us, we have like a podcast, the Real Estate Fight Club podcast, where I could be like, oh, you'd be a great guest. Can we talk about that? Whatever. And move it along that way. So like using your resources of what you have, if you're a real estate agent that interviews business owners or whatever it is, right? I love it.
But also real estate agents who are trying to recruit, that's huge right now. Regardless of what brokerage you're with, right? Like that's a big conversation right now. People want to recruit agents and they want to do it on a national scale. And so they're like, well, can I do that on Instagram? Yeah. 100%. And moving the meeting is as simple as, hey, my calendar is actually clear next Wednesday. I don't know what yours looks like, but does 10 a.m. work for a Zoom meeting with you? Let's have coffee together. Right. And it's about knowing how to ask. And I always, my husband laughs at me all the time. He's like, babe, I think you missed your calling. You would have made a great real estate agent. And I'm like, yeah, now I serve them, babe. That's okay. I'm good with that.
That's enough.
But just because the understanding and the intuitiveness that it takes to understand, hey, it's time to have this conversation, or hey, it's time to go for the ask. is something that can be taught. And I think that that's something that people are scared of because they don't want to come across salesy. They don't want to feel slimy.
Right.
And it's one of those things that you just have to slowly learn over time, and it becomes very simple once you have it figured out.
Once you know how to do it, that's true. Now, obviously, we're just touching on the tip of the iceberg for this Instagram power method that you have, and you offer a variety of levels of coaching. You speak like there's a process, because there is. That's the whole entire point. So you could do everything from on-demand coaching to one-on-one to VIP coaching. How can people learn more about each of those and how to contact you? I mean, I assume it's Instagram.
Yeah, it's so funny because that's what I say. I'm like, just DM me on Instagram. Instagram is Berman Media Social. For anybody that wants to go find me, it's just Berman Media Social, all one word. Even if you just type in my name that you said earlier, Jen, it'll pop right up. But yeah, I mean, for me, the biggest thing is, regardless of where you're at, we can meet you where you are at. The most important thing is, and what I will tell anybody who calls me or sets up time to talk to us, this is not a short-term play. This is not a get rich quick thing. This is not I'm going to use Instagram and a month later, I'm going to have so much business, I don't know what to do with myself.
Yeah.
It is a long-term brand building, personal brand establishing process, right? I've been in the industry for 8 years. And I truly think the last 3 years have been magical for lots of reasons, but I have put a lot of time and effort into my presence and to what we do. And so the people that are right for us and that want to work with us are the ones who understand that this is something that I can't not do, but I have to also understand that this is not something that's going to take 2 days to accomplish.
Right. No, that makes sense. Well, I really appreciate you being on. Again, your Instagram handle is what?
Berman Media Social.
Perfect.
All one word.
Thank you, Michelle.
Hi guys, Monica Weekly here. You know how you're supposed to post about real estate every single day on Facebook? Yes, you do. And the reason is, if we don't remind our Facebook friends what we do for a living and how we help people, they will forget about it. We know it's our job to inform, educate, and demonstrate what we do for a living. Well, I'm coaching agents all around the country, and they understand that, but they're not doing it. And I ask them, why aren't you doing it? Probably just like you. And they said, Monica, we don't know what to post. Can we just borrow your stuff? Because I love creating Facebook posts. And these can often be used over on Instagram as well. So I said yes, and people were borrowing my stuff. So I created finally a product that you can sign up for free. It is free, guys. There is no reason for you not to sign up for this. It's GhostPostr.com, GhostPostr, no E in there, just TR.com. And what you're going to get is you're going to get a Facebook posting idea to your email every single day. So not only do you have this great idea, but you've been reminded, oh yeah, I need to post. And that's Monday through Friday. And if you don't love the post, or you think, gosh, I'd like something else, well, you're also going to get access to a library of over 600 different posts for you to choose from by category. You're going to love it. Go sign up, GhostPostr.com. Don't waste a minute. And then be sure to join the private Facebook group. All right, I'll see you in there.
Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you don't miss a podcast.